Oh, that went down the wrong pipe just as I went live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday. It's Friday, Friday. Everybody loves it's Friday. Who's in first? Jennifer's there. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Cindy, Kitty, welcome to the party. Michelle, hello. Karen, good evening. Dennis, welcome to the party. Nancy is here. Yes, banking I've been on. I was just on with Washington, Nancy. We'll cover it. Valerie, Angie, Hendrick, Michelle. Pasadena's in the house. Boom. Yes, we're all forgetting the days. It's okay, Jenny. You know, that's why I thought I'd clarify it. And granted, I checked the calendar too. I closed a circle. Hey, my stand goal is achieved. Cool, now I'm just going to stand for some more. Hey, Joanne. Glad to have you join us. Carmela's in the house. Oh, it's a slow start to a Friday night, everybody. Okay, so let's get going with our grateful. What are we grateful for this Friday night? Hey, Tiffany. What are we grateful for this Friday night? We got to be grateful for something. Hello, Lorna. Hey, Heather. What are we grateful for, people? Oh, hey, Nancy, I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, this isn't Neil for anything. You gotta have something better than Neil. There's gotta be something better. There's gotta be chocolate chip cookies. There's gotta be sun. There's gotta be something better than a time off with your son. That's better than Neil. Grateful for monkeys. Okay. And hats getting your Shopify site. That's awesome, Kitty. That is awesome that they got that going. Your health, Michelle. Hey, Melissa, my daughter working on getting Shopify up. All right, we got daughters working. A new puppy? That's what we need pictures of, Nancy. That's a lot of our pictures in our employee group and keeping us going. We've got a recipe exchange going. Bread pudding was the topic today. You have toilet paper and Clorox. Good health. Reese's peanut butter eggs. Ooh, those are good, but the peanut butter cups that I sell are better. So, wait, I'll have to show the peanut butter cups. Tomorrow night, $4.50 in Facebook sales today. Getting all your paperwork together. You can't put a photo of Pebbles on live. Well, what you really need to put a photo of, Jennifer, is your pantry. So everybody that's been stocking toilet paper and has that all stocked up, if you're wondering where the flour and chocolate chips are, they're at Jennifer's house. Okay? So if there's there is a flour shortage. I couldn't get flour in my house and everything. I was asked to pick up flour. There is a flour shortage. It is all at Jennifer Johnson's house. Oh, cool. That's great, Jenny, that your song, Our Time, is going to be featured on Coast to Coast with George Norrie. That's awesome. Hey, Alexa. I owe you a call, Alexa. I will get to it tomorrow. There's never a shorter of flour or chocolate chips. That is awesome. Well, we got to get you on our recipe exchange, or at least baking, Jennifer. I am glad to hear that everybody is grateful. See, when I push you to think about it, hey, Melissa's here. Whoop, whoop. You're done peopling. I get it. Peopling is tough. Peopling is tough. Kelly's with us. It is hard to people, and I get it. I am done sitting at a desk talking on the phone for the day, but I am talking with all of you now, and I am excited to be doing that. And we've got a lot to cover today. Every time in the morning I start a pad. So I start a pad of what I'm going to cover live because, some of you midday I'll be talking to one of you and you'll be like, what are you going to cover tonight? And I'm like, well, I don't really have much. I only have 2 or 3 things. And then by the end, the whole pad is full and tomorrow I get to start a new pad. So, what did I do with my glasses? I got to see, folks. So, I wanted to share this piece of inspiration with you. Amy Abrams, all right. Nice of you to join us tonight. We were getting tired of Eric. Glad to have you with us, Amy. That must mean it's Friday and Eric's already had cocktail time. So I wanted to share this piece of inspiration. Ellen's with us. Hi, Ellen and Mike. So I got this from one of my employees in the mail today to share with us, and I thought I'd give you a little bit bigger picture as we're all frustrated with, being locked in or doing different things. I thought I would share it. So when this is over, we may never again, and this came in old-fashioned mail. She's one of my older employees, so email, text, not a thing. When this is over, may we never again take for granted a handshake with a stranger, full shelves at the store, conversations with neighbors, a crowded theater, or Friday night out. A routine checkup, a school rush each morning, coffee with a friend, the stadium roaring, each deep breath, a boring Tuesday, life itself. When this ends, may we find that we have become more like the people we wanted to be, we were called to be, we hoped to be. We hope to be, and may we stay that way, better for each other because of the worst. I just thought that was a nice way, and again, I want us looking forward. I want us looking to the other side of this because we are going to get up to the other side. We have survived 100% of our worst days. 100%, and we're going to survive this too. One of the disasters that we survived that didn't even make this list that came up the other day, and Kitty will appreciate this because she was part of leading the charge during that time, is CPSIA. If you were a kid's store in the late 2000s, and had to deal with CPSIA and all the different regulations and things that you couldn't handle and all the recalls and everything. Tons of buffering going on. Is everybody else having a problem, or is it just Ellen? Is it just because you're at the beach? You're living on the beach life? Is anybody else having a problem hearing me? I don't want to go on if people are losing me. That's right, Kitty. That was a law. Okay, so it's just Ellen. It's the beach, Ellen. 2008 and 2009 were awful if you were a kid's store. It put a lot, it was just awful. Well, of course it's fine in Florida, Jennifer. You got cookies. But that was just an awful thing. But that didn't even make it as one of our worst days on the list, okay? There are so many things, and I've shared so many other stories with you guys of some of our worst things that didn't even make the list, and CPSIA was one of them. So, we will get to the other side of this. We are totally going there. So, we're going there together. So let's talk about the hot topic of the day. The PPP is the hot topic of the day still, okay? And most of the frustration, yes, it did make your worst list. And I'm glad you made a list, Kitty, because I want you to see all the things that we've overcome. I want you to envision our stores through it and better than we are now. And I remember how bad that was. And granted, I was a lot smaller back then. But it was a bad time. But we're gonna get through this, okay? And I can share 100 other stories. The crazy part about all these stories isn't that they're crazy; it's that they're all true. And we're gonna get there. We are totally gonna get there. So let's talk about the issues with the PPP. Banks aren't ready for it. Your bank won't do it, and you had to go to a different bank that won't take you because you're not their customer. one bank's telling you this, another bank's telling you that. You're hearing this from your friends, you're hearing this from Neil, you're hearing this from your banker husband. What's the right answer with all of this? Well, somewhere in between. The PPP was rushed out, okay? It's a program unlike any program that the government has ever done before. They thought they could get it out quickly by using the banks who have money, okay? And many of which are already SBA lenders. And so that's why they used the banks, okay? Banks are really good at dotting I's and crossing T's. They're not good at just quick stuff like this. Okay, what they're being asked to do, okay, is essentially like going up to the ATM, okay, putting in your card, not having to enter a PIN, actually barely, not even having to put your card in, and just walking up to the ATM, saying I want money, saying, oh yeah, well this is what I have for payroll, boom, boom, spit out money. Then the government saying to the bank, well, whatever Neil took for money out of the ATM, don't worry. We're going to give you that all back, and we're going to pay you 5% for the favor of doing it. So banks want to do this program because there's a lot of money in it for them in a very short period of time. Okay, I mean, let's take a small regional bank. Let's say they give out, there's $350 billion going to be given out. My guess is it's going to, by the time it's over, it'll be closer to 500 or 700 billion that is given out through this program. Okay, if your little bank that you deal with does 10 million, or let's say 35 million is the number I picked out earlier when I was talking to somebody. If they issue $35 million in your community, which would be common in a lot of communities, for payroll, 2.5 months of payroll, and when you really do the economics of it, it's really not that hard. That little bank is going to make $1.75 million just processing these loans. So there's a big incentive for the banks to get this done. They just have a hard time following that there's really nothing on them holding them accountable for this. And that's where the banks are playing it close. The banks are playing it close with their relationships. And they're prioritizing people they have an existing relationship with. And they're doing that because they're worried about fraud. They feel like they've done that added security measure if they've done that. Now, I will tell you that, you already probably know because people that really thought they were ready woke up to find out that there was a new application this morning, okay, which was nice of the Treasury to drop overnight, late last night. And they're also dropped some new rules directly to the banks overnight. So, they woke up to reading different things than they had read the day before. So there's some confusion between the banks on what rules they're going to have to follow, what the rules for repayment, can they delay disbursement and get you filed, does disbursement date really matter? And one of the rules changes that's being contemplated is just as long as you get your people back by 6:30, it won't matter. And keep them. So there is some of that. It's going to get hashed out this weekend. There is a lot of people working on that this weekend between the banks, the SBA, and the government. I was just on, you can include state taxes in your in the payroll calculation. Take a look at Nancy, if you haven't seen it, in the files section or on the Resale Strong page on the NARTS Resale Strong page, we posted the calculator to use to calculate your own the form for the PPP. So you can use that. It'll help you calculate it. It's a great form. But the repayment and some of the other issues are going to get hashed out this weekend. They really are. I think by Tuesday it'll be a completely smooth sailing process. A lot of it will get hashed out this weekend. I have a meeting Sunday afternoon at 4 now that just got scheduled just before we got on. That people in Washington scheduled, and they have meetings and are hashing this out. they hit me up for what's going on with you. And so I shared all of your real stories with them of what's happening because they wanted to know. Yes, I know Wells Fargo doesn't have their act together. It is best to do a lot of the people that don't have it together come Monday, Tuesday will have it together, but part of it is the government changed the rules overnight, literally overnight. What everybody had as their initial draft rules for this and the rules that came out overnight, both issued to us as borrowers and the lenders, was different. And so they're clarifying, they're going back and forth. They're just making sure they're doing it right. Because again, banks aren't set up for just handing out money based on self-certifications. Yes, Lindsay, the SBA, yes, that's correct, Sarah. I truly believe that that your banks will get you in. I really think, and they're going to have plenty of money. I mean, until through the next deadline, that when the next window opens up next Friday. But they're going to get this all worked out. So hey Sylvia, welcome to the party. Even though you're late, you're always welcome. So the 10K. So if you applied for the economic injury disaster loan in recent weeks, not back when I applied for it, but in recent weeks, they had offered you a 10 grand advance. If you took that 10 grand advance, okay, or you asked for that 10 grand advance, I don't think I actually know anyone that's received the 10 grand advance, and I actually communicated that to Washington tonight because that was something they wanted to know, what hiccups are people having, and I know there's an awful lot of people that have asked for it and have not gotten it, certainly within the 3 days promised. But that 10 grand that says you don't have to pay it back, if you take a PPP loan, that 10 grand applies to the PPP and would reduce your PPP amount. So keep that in mind. I talked to one store this afternoon that it actually is not in their best interest because of the amount of payroll they have, or the lack of payroll they have. It's a small store primarily run by the owner, and because of that, and the amount paid in payroll in the last year, it's actually to their advantage to keep the 10 grand, not apply for the PPP, and that'll stay as a grant. And for stores without a lot of payroll, the numbers really work that way. And you really have to look at that. This is all a math game, and you want to be on the right side of it. So in this person's case, they're better off never applying for the PPP. Just take the economic injury disaster loan and not worry about the PPP. For those wondering, the cocktail of the night is a gin and tonic. We may get to rationing liquor around here. I don't know that we'll get that bad. I'm told there's more scotch in the garage or someplace. Do we have a threshold? It really depends on your situation. It depends on how much you would use the loan. Use the PPP calculator that I posted earlier, Sarah, and see how much you would get from the PPP. Okay, if you're going to get under $10,000, you shouldn't apply for the PPP. You should just keep the $10,000 advance that they give you as part of the economic injury disaster loan, okay, as your grant. If you're only going to get, it comes down to that. So it comes down to how much you would gain by doing the PPP. For some people, it's honestly not worth it if you're going to take the 10 grand advance. I applied before that was available. I have water too. I have water here. I always have water because I drink a lot. I mean, I'm a high fluid drinker. Coffee, water, and everything. And then this is gin and tonic. When I go down to Texas, this is how I fool people because Texans like it when you have a drink in your hand, and I drink fluids too much. So when I'm down with some of my relatives down there and they're drinking, I just have the bartender switch me to Sprite afterwards, actually. I do a gin and tonic and then switch to Sprite because I can't keep up with good Texans that drink. You wait, Lisa. You wait. They are behind. Yes, the 10K advance is still available, and if you don't take a PPP, that part stays as a grant. Okay? So if it wasn't available when you applied, or you didn't select it when you applied for the economic injury disaster loan, you can go back, submit another application. You don't have to worry about it. They'll combine them, okay? But you will get the 10 grand advance when they get that. If you didn't get a number at the end, Michelle, it didn't go through. So yes, you should do it again. If you didn't get a number, all you're going to get when you apply for the economic injury disaster loan is a number at the end. You're not going to get an email confirmation. You're not going to get anything else. And I know that's caused some frustration because in the early days of all this, if you applied in early March or late February, okay, you were getting a login to their website. You were getting updated status. You got an email confirmation. You got all these things. And I've relayed that to the folks in Washington who are speaking directly with the administration, that is a huge point of frustration, that there's no place to find that information. And because of that, all of you are clogging up the phones, calling the SBA, and you're not getting anywhere when you call because they don't have any more information than your number at that point. So I'm going to walk you through what's actually happened, what is, hang on a second. I'm going to walk you through what happened with where my economic injury disaster loan application is. And yes, it's okay. A lot of people have been nervous about that. If you were on the SBA.gov site and you gave your banking information, Rose, that is fine. Okay? A lot of people have been nervous or X'd out when they got to that point and got really, really scared and didn't want to give their banking information. But if you entered it on SBA.gov, just again, make sure what site you're on when you're entering that information, that you didn't click on some weird link that Google, because again, the fraudsters are out there big time. So be aware of that. So I'm gonna walk you through, since I'm further along on the SBA economic injury disaster loan than most people. Actually, pretty much anybody that I've talked to, and anybody I've talked to at the SBA, okay, I wanted to let you know how the process has been moving and what the dates have been. So I applied on March 17th, okay? My loan was assigned to a loan officer, which is the next step, on March 27th. I was asked for some follow-up information, which I sent. Okay, immediately. It was a very, very simple, they're going to ask you for a short form. It's going to take you all of 2 seconds to sign it and fill it out. Okay, and on March 29th, my loan was approved for closing. On March 31st, okay, again, applied, my application started on March 17th. On March 31st, the closing documents were generated and supposedly mailed. Okay, I don't necessarily trust this whole mail thing, but that is what I am being told. They were mailed on March 31st. Today on 4/3, April 3rd, so started on March 17th, on April 3rd, I got a call from my closing officer with the SBA. Okay, the closing officer told me, yes, they're mailed. Of course they're mailed. Okay, so I'm waiting on the post office. Okay, we aren't getting mail delivery right now in our stores because we're closed. So I have to go to the post office and get any mail. Okay, she told me that that the business is responsible for doing the UCC filing. The UCC filing, for those of you that are not familiar with commercial loans, is a filing that they do. It's a public filing. It's kind of like a lien, your mortgage lien with the town, but this is filed with the state for debts that the business takes out and liens that the business takes out. So that are on the business. So the SBA actually puts, as part of their loan package, they're putting it on the business to file the lien on behalf of the SBA. The paperwork is included with the closing packet. And in Massachusetts, not all states, okay, but in Massachusetts, that can be done online. So when I get the form, I can do that for them online. they require the receipt of that, the confirmation of that, to be able to close your loan. Okay? If they don't have the confirmation because your state requires it to be mailed in, it's done by the Secretary of State's office in your state. So you can look up now how UCC filings are handled in your state. Okay? If you have to wait for a mail confirmation, okay, they can only release up to $25,000 of your EIDL loan. Okay, but if you get the confirmation, they can release all of it. Okay? In that packet that you have to complete will be instructions on how to upload it. There's a special upload system for the completion of the documents, for the completed documents to send them back. Okay, when you send them back, okay, when you upload them, I am to... Your Secretary of State is shut down. I'm hoping, Kitty, that your Secretary of State is an online system, so it's all automated, but I don't know that. I know in Massachusetts it is online, and I can do it online. I'm told that once I upload these forms back to the SBA, I have to scan and send them back, that either that day or the next day funds would be released. Either $25,000 if the UCC filing is not included, or the full amount of your disbursement if the UCC filing is included. And I'm told as long as I asked for direct deposit versus getting a check and provided the checking and routing information and a voided check, that it would be then released to the bank in another 1 to 3 days. So I still got some time on my clock here of all this to happen. But that is the process that is, and the timeline that has been explained to me. So far we've gotten from March 17th when I originally applied to April 3rd, and I am waiting on the U.S. mail, which supposedly was mailed March 31st, and they will send it, so I'm waiting and now going to the post office each day to have to knock on their door and say, hey, Mike, do I have any mail? And today I had mail, but just bills. So nothing good in there. So, but I will keep you abreast of the days, but that is what is happening. Welcome, Bonnie, to the show tonight. Well, glad to have you and Park join us. Nancy, yes, 50% of gross profits is the formula they are using. The key to that is you do not, depending on the size of your business, you do not want to take more than $500,000. Because as I've described before, if you're old enough or know anyone that's had a colonoscopy, you know that that's not necessarily a pleasant procedure. It's even more pleasant procedure without anesthesia. And so if you take over $500,000, you have a colonoscopy without anesthesia, and you will not follow that timeline that I just gave you or anywhere close to that. Do I know what the streamlined process will be this week? Well, I know they're getting better. This is the timeline for the economic injury disaster loan. I believe things will get much better for the PPP next week. Okay, the PPP, as I talked at the top here, has been a disastrous process. They know it. I expect to have updated information for you guys on Sunday night, since my meeting Sunday night is with people in Washington and SBA people and the administration and stuff, so I have that going on Sunday night. So I expect to have more information on how they're fixing the banking problems with the PPP and the rules for it by Sunday night, and I expect that to roll out Monday, Tuesday to the banks, and actually it'll do. Hey, Bonnie, that's okay. You know where to find me. Okay, I'm always there for you. Hey, Jenny, good to have you and Dennis join us tonight. Glad to have you here. Yes, the new form, Kelly, is on the NARTS Facebook page, and it is also on the NARTS website, available to anyone at narts.org/resale strong is where you can get the new application. Also, the loan calculator for the PPP is there, so that makes it really easy to follow everything. You plug that in, and you'll see where you're at, and it... Sorry about that, folks. My brother was chiming in on there, checking in with me. So we will hear on that. For those of you that haven't heard in the news, the IRS $1,200 stimulus checks to people earning under $75,000 will be going out electronically. Follow the calculator, Nancy. There's a lot of misinformation right now with the banks. There is a way to do that, and it's on it's in the calculator, and my guess is they will have more information on it by the beginning of the week on 1099s. So, that's a good thing. So on April 13th, a lot of those checks will be going out to people that have direct deposit on their tax returns on their 2018 or 2019 tax returns. That is where the money will be going. Oh, one other thing. So we have to go back a step here on talking about the PPP and the EIDL, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, abbreviated EIDL. We need to talk about that for a second, because you can have those, okay, you can take both of those. No, Michelle, it will not. Well, call me. We'll talk about your question separately. Andrew, that's the per tax ID number. That is the business. That is the business. Multiple businesses that have employees and such can apply for multiple PPPs. Okay, so you can, and multiple EIDLs. Okay, so let's talk about having a PPP and an EIDL. Okay, the issue with that, okay, having a PPP and an EIDL is you can include your income if you were paying yourself, Lisa. Okay? If you were paying yourself, you can include your income. But let me talk for a second about PPPs and EIDLs, okay? If you have both a PPP and EIDL, they can't be used for the same thing. So you can have a PPP that's used for payroll, and you can have an EIDL that's used for other expenses such as rent or operating expenses, and pretty much any other bill that you're going to pay. One of the things that's going to become an issue for some people is accounting for all this. And one of the recommendations, it is a recommendation that I've been giving everybody that I've talked to today, is if you do not have a separate payroll account, create one and fund it with the EIDL money. I mean, the PPP money, excuse me. Put the PPP money in a separate payroll account, and that way you can easily show how all that went to cover payroll. Okay, it'll be very easy to track, show, and follow that all of that money went to payroll. And so, and then that the EIDL was used for other expenses. You don't want to get in a reporting problem. What you really want to do is make it easy for your bank, because your bank is the one that's going to certify that you used the PPP funds for payroll and the allowed expenses, which if you're getting both, it's just easier to keep that as payroll. So they're the ones that have to certify that. And so if you make it easy, it will make your certification and conversion to a grant much easier. So if you don't have a separate payroll account, I recommend having one and using it for that purpose with the PPP and EIDL, if you are getting both. And we've also talked about, COVID's getting real in a lot of parts of the country more than it already has. And it's getting real because it's getting personal. 6 degrees of separation, just like Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Well, somebody who knows somebody, your cousin's sister's brother has COVID or something, so it's getting real for a lot of people. So it's a real disease. It's a real problem. It's a real virus. Okay. You need to take it seriously and take precautions. I mean, I don't want any of us to get it. I want all of us to recover. I want all of us to be resale strong. But I just want you to be aware that it is getting closer and closer to each one of us. And so that's why I use my 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon analogy. Phone numbers to remember. So I'm going to give you 3 phone numbers to remember because some of you are having problems with it. If you're getting a call from me, okay, it's a 508 number. If you're getting a call from the SBA, okay, that you do not want to ignore, like if I got a call from the SBA right now, I would tell you all bye, okay? But the SBA calls from one of 2 numbers. It is either an 817 area code number, 817, or it is an 800 number that goes 800-366. Okay? So if you get a call from one of those numbers, take the call. In other news today, and I think you're going to see more of this, so we've talked about, frustration with some stores staying open that you believe are non-essential and everything else, and they've argued in different communities that they are essential. A Dallas judge struck down what? I'm not important enough, Melissa, to make your note? Oh, you know my number. A Dallas judge, okay, struck down, it forced the Hobby Lobby to close because he ruled that they were not essential. And I think you're going to see some of that more going on around the country, but that was just an interesting soundbite. We talked about that. Some of you have asked about the credit, taking the tax credit in lieu of the PPP. There's an opportunity to take a tax credit of 50% of an employee's wages up to $20,000 in earnings between now and the end of the year and taking it as a tax credit. Hey, Angie Hulus, how are you? Glad you joined late so that you didn't hear me talking about you. Love you, Angie. It's all okay, Melissa. We're all that way. Okay. I at least remembered to take a shower just before I got off one of my last calls and said, I need to go take a shower so I look somewhat presentable for you guys tonight, even though I've videoed with many of you today and been not very presentable. So taking the tax credit is a very individual thing. Okay, and I'm happy to do the numbers and the math with you, with anybody on that thinks that the tax credit they would do better with. The problem with the tax credit is it's quarterly based, and it's quarterly based on restoring payroll, and if your payroll levels get above the level, the credit drops for the whole quarter. So you're only going to get it for a quarter, and if you have high earners, like I work with some people, some other businesses that do have high earners, it is possible to make that number work for a quarter. But for most resale stores, and I know most of your number, I'm not throwing anything, I'm not disparaging, I'm not downing anybody's numbers, I'm not upping anybody's numbers, but the reality is most people are going to be better, most people that I'm speaking to, most traditional store owners, and are going to be better off taking the PPP because it's a sure thing, okay? The tax credit is playing craps, okay? Rolling the dice. I like a sure thing. Growing up, I played the horses. I grew up outside of Saratoga, and it's got a famous thoroughbred horse track, and I played the horses when I wasn't playing with real money. A teenager, it wasn't real money back then. But I still enjoy going once a year for the entertainment value now and having a good time. But I'm too careful with my money to gamble it all away. So I only bet on a sure thing. And And that's why I like the harness track, because that's a little more fixed. But that's neither here nor there. Let's see what else I got for you here tonight. Do not forget that there are only a finite number of problems, but there are an infinite number of solutions, okay? We are going to get to the other side of this. We are going to survive this. We will get to the other side. If you were not going to close before this happened, there is no reason, zero reason for you to be closing now, because we are going to come out of this stronger than ever before. What are you doing to make your processes better, your store stronger, so that on the other side of this, we are stronger, okay? I don't get to sleep, Kelly. That's not in my schedule. But I do a couple hours. I do for a couple hours. I was up at 2 o'clock this morning, and I did go back to sleep after that. I need to, there's too much going on right now, and it's happening too fast, and I need to help too many people. And that's what I'm here for. I was excited today. I got my emails down to 50, I think. Updating software, that's a great thing to do during the downtime. I was talking to software vendors. I've been talking to all my vendors. Use your vendors. Whoever you work with in this industry is there to work with you to help not only get you to the other side, but help you be stronger on the other side. And I don't care whether you're using Computer Peeps or Traxia or Consign Pro or Liberty or SBS, or you use Snap Retail or MailChimp or any of the others, or Constant Contact. Whatever your vendors, they are all there looking to make you stronger, looking to make you better than you were before. A lot of you are looking at different processes because you've been doing this in the store. You're the only one there. I mean, Cassandra's talked about it. You know, she's like doing the job for 22 people right now. That's a big deal, okay? So getting to the other side, finding our path there, we're going to get there, okay? We're all going to get there together because we are stronger together, okay? Let me see what else I got for you. Maryland, and you're going to see some more of this, okay? I like what the governor of Maryland, he's a hot ticket. If you've never watched, if you're not from Maryland and you don't know Larry Hogan, who's the governor of Maryland, he's the real deal. I mean, he's just a smart man. Saying man of the people sounds phony, but he's really a good guy, okay? And so there's been some pricing issues there, or there's been, or at least the concern of it. So he actually passed an executive order forcing people that are allowed to be open and sell essential supplies that they can't increase their profit by more than 10%. So, and he specifically laid out all the different categories of things, from food, beverages, fuel, water, ice, medicine, hygiene and personal care products, medical supplies, cleaning products, pet food, motor vehicle parts and repairs, building supplies and equipment, storage space, computers and related electronic devices, batteries, internet, telephone, video streaming, website hosting, and childcare. And he put all that into effect. And he is great. He's really a great guy. I know somebody that works for him. He's really a phenomenal guy. So I'm really happy for that. I am getting back to you people tomorrow. That's people I'm getting back to tomorrow that are on my list. Our Dove chocolate of the night. Our Dove chocolate wrapper, where I snuck in a Dove chocolate break earlier today, in between calls, is laugh it off, people. We're going to laugh this pandemic off. We're going to laugh what this has done to us all, because we are better. We will be better on the other side of this. Folks, that is what I got for you tonight. It depends on the order. I think the San Antonio order, Alexa, and I'll look it up tomorrow before I call you. Message me so that I don't forget, Alexa. Send me an email so that I can double check the San Antonio order. Massachusetts has one of the most restrictive in the United States, that only allows an owner in a building. most other states allow you to maintain minimal activity that is essential to the business operation and would allow a manager in the building. Okay, Alexa? And I will be happy to double check the San Antonio order, but send me an email so that I can double check it before I call you tomorrow. Again, reach out to me. I am Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com. I return every call. Sometimes right now it takes me a day or two to get back to people because of the volume, but I return every call. If you get a call or a FaceTime from a 508 number, that is me. Okay? Curbside pickup, Kelly, depends on your area whether you can do curbside pickup. I can't in Massachusetts offer curbside pickup. Only essential businesses can offer curbside pickup. Michelle, that is correct. If you do not apply for the PPP, the Economic Injury 10K, and you took the 10K advance on the Economic Injury disaster loan, then you will be fine. So we will get there. We will all get there together. Message me your store-specific questions. I'm happy to take them. I will make sure you do. If you email me, make sure you include your phone number because a lot of this stuff needs a phone call. And I've been preferring FaceTime, so a lot of these things need a call because it's more than just a yes or no. So I am happy to do that. It's my true honor and pleasure to serve, and I don't get the weekend off, Sarah. I'm here again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I will be back here. With whatever is happening and whatever questions came up in between, I will answer. That is what I am here for. There is no rest for a pandemic. I will rest when this is all over. I have this fantasy of taking a vacation when this is all over. My wife told all the employees, since they're getting 6, 7, 8 weeks off, that we're going to take a 6, 7, 8 week vacation, when this is all over. And I think that scared them. I don't think we're going to get a 6, 7, 8 week vacation, but it sure sounds nice. We're going to cover it all. Email me, call me, Facebook me, but make sure you include your phone number because most of these things require a phone call. Okay? And I will call you. Again, that's a 508 number that will be calling you or FaceTiming you. I am Neil. I do weddings, bar mitzvahs, and I do these every night at 8. Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com. You are not alone running this store. I will see you all tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Have a great night. It's dinner time, everybody. Jerry, you just showed up when it's time for dinner. Catch the replay, Jerry. I love you.